Let me ask you something. What if I told you that in Islam, a simple act of kindness, to an animal no less, could be the key to divine forgiveness? Well, in this explainer, we're going to explore that exact idea and see how this incredible principle of compassion extends to our elders, turning simple respect into a profound act of worship. Right here. This is the core of our entire discussion, and I want you to pay close attention to that language. He is not one of us. Whoa, that's not just a gentle suggestion, is it? It's framing this as a fundamental test of whether you even belong to the community. And it all comes down to how we treat the youngest and the oldest among us.
So, to really get a handle on respecting people, we first need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. We have to start with this foundational idea of mercy, a mercy that, in Islam, extends to all of God's creation.
To see this principle in action, let's dive into a really powerful story. Our main character is a woman who, well, let's just say she wasn't exactly known for her piety. But her story, it might just change how you think about compassion.
So, one day, she's near a well and she sees this dog, and the animal is in serious distress, panting, exhausted, so thirsty it was literally eating the wet mud to try and get some relief. A really simple but powerful moment of need.
And what she does next is so simple but so profound. She's moved by what she sees, so she takes off her own shoe, uses it to get water from the well, and gives the thirsty dog a drink. A tiny act of kindness, right? But the consequences were massive. And there you have it. This story just brilliantly shows the power of compassion in Islam. For that single act of mercy to an animal, God thanked her, guided her, and forgave her sins. That is an incredibly powerful statement.
Okay, so if that's the reward for being kind to a dog, just imagine the significance of how we treat other people. The teaching takes this a huge step further. It says that honoring certain people isn't just good manners, it's a direct act of glorifying God Himself.
So who exactly are these honored individuals? First, the elderly, the gray-haired Muslim whose age symbolizes a life of experience and faith. Second, the one who bears the Quran, not just by memory, but through their actions. And third, the just ruler, who works to uphold fairness for everyone. To honor them, the teaching says, is to honor God. Now, this slide is really important because it unpacks what being a bearer of the Quran truly means. See, it's not about just memorizing it, not at all. It's about living its teachings with balance and moderation and avoiding any kind of extremism or neglect. That's a powerful distinction. And the teaching does not mince words here. It says that only a hypocrite would fail to show respect to these three. This makes it crystal clear that this kind of respect isn't just a social nicety. It's a deep-seated matter of faith. All right, so that's the teaching. But how did it actually play out in real life? Let's look at the Prophet Muhammad's own actions to see these principles in practice. I want you to just picture this scene for a second. The Prophet has just achieved this monumental victory with the conquest of Mecca. It's his moment of triumph. And his closest companion, Abu Bakr, brings his extremely elderly father to meet him. So how does the leader react? His response is so telling. Instead of just accepting the honor of this old man coming to him, his very first thought is for the man's comfort. He says, essentially, you should have let the old man stay home. I would have come to him. That simple gesture just speaks volumes about his humility and his profound respect for age. Here's another story that shows his gentle, even playful side. An elderly woman approaches him and asks him to pray for her to enter paradise. And his response is a joke. But at first, it made her really sad. But then he smiles and explains what he really meant. You see, no old woman will enter paradise because God makes everyone young again. He told her everyone would enter paradise in the prime of their youth, at the age of 33. And with that beautiful explanation, he instantly turned her sorrow into joy. And look, these weren't just isolated incidents. This respect was woven into the very fabric of daily life, from simple etiquette like serving the oldest person first, to bigger things like shortening prayers for their comfort, all the way to the rules of war where he forbade harming the elderly. It was a lived, breathing reality. So what does all this mean for us today? How do we take these powerful teachings from history and actually apply them in our own lives? Well, the source material gives us a very real-world challenge to think about. Think about your daily commute, the bus, the train. We've all seen it happen, right? An elderly person gets on, maybe someone the age of your own grandparent, and they're left standing while a young, healthy person stays seated. In that single moment, we have a choice. Do we live up to these values, or do we just look away?
Because that small act on the bus, that's what character is all about. It's built in these little, everyday moments. And that's why a long life is seen as such a blessing. It gives us more time and more opportunities to do good and to become the best versions of ourselves.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's not just about knowing these stories. It's about internalizing them so deeply that respect for our elders becomes a reflex, just a natural, automatic part of who we are. So, I'll leave you with this one question to reflect on. Who in your life can you honor today? A parent, a grandparent, an older neighbor? It doesn't have to be some huge, grand gesture. Even a small act of kindness can make a massive difference. And it's the perfect way to start putting these powerful teachings into practice.